Thanks for joining our monthly community webcast. I'm Jürgen Kress, part of the Oracle product management team to support you as a partner. In case you missed one of our webcasts, on-demand recordings are available. For details, please see our monthly community newsletter and subscribe to our Video Hub partner channel. In today's presentation, Nick, Peter, and Michael will give an update on Oracle Integration Adapters. Nick and Peter are both from Advantco. Good morning, Nick.
Morning, Jürgen. Thanks for having us.
Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Jürgen.
Thanks for attending. And good morning, Michael, from our team, product manager for adapters.
Good morning, Jürgen, and good morning, everyone.
Objective of today's webcast is to update you on the latest Oracle integration adapters. Oracle offers certified adapters to connect Oracle SaaS like HCM, ERP, and CX. These pre-built adapters accelerate SaaS implementation, reduce project risk, and ensure future maintenance. Integration empowers your SaaS implementation service revenue. Customers gain competitive advantage through customization. Oracle integration, process, and visual builder services are used by the Oracle teams developing SaaS. And the same tools can be used by you as a partner to customize and extend SaaS. This is the majority of service revenue, where you can leverage pre-built templates and extensions. Please pay attention to the Oracle Safe Harbor statement. Please blog and tweet about services and functionality which is available today. We will start the presentation with the latest community updates, followed by Michael, Peter, and Nick's presentation, including a live demo. We will wrap up the presentation with a call to action and answer the questions. So let's get started. First, announcements for upcoming customer events. We will host our quarterly update webcast for customers on September 16th. Deepak, Neil, and myself will update you on the latest release and present best practice on ERP and supply chain. Please attend and invite your customers at OIC August 2021. Last week, we distributed our quarterly customer newsletter. The customer newsletter is written by the product management team and updates you with the latest events, success stories, white papers, and training. Please share your content and we will include them in the next newsletter. Together with our partner Fishbowl and the customer Echo, we will run a webcast for Service Cloud customers. Fishbowl implemented a successful solution with Oracle Digital Assistant, and we will present you the details on September 15th. Please join our webinar. For more information about Digital Assistant, please subscribe to the Digital Assistant customer newsletter, which also features best practice, events, and customer success stories. And feel free to share your content. Quick update on partner activities. In case you missed our launch webcast with Suhas Ulia, our VP, including the Oracle Sales Place and many live demos, which you can use also for your presentation, please make use of the on-demand webcast. For partners in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, we recorded a webcast with Martin Fleck, our EMEA sales leader for integration and security. We would like to invite you to attend our upcoming hands-on bootcamps to learn more about Oracle integration. The bootcamps include also labs where you can try Oracle integration for HCM and ERP Cloud. Upcoming trainings include South America and Asia. We also are launching registration for the next US trainings and trainings in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. For details, please see the community newsletter. The training is also available for you as a partner as an on-demand workshop. For more information, subscribe to our integration newsletter. The August edition was published. Brand new, we launched our new community website. The community website is a one-stop portal with all the key information. If you subscribe to the newsletter, you have access at bit.ly/OIC partner page. And we opened registration for Digital Assistant hands-on training. It's a live workshop in Spanish for South America. It's a 4-day event taking place in November 9th, 11th, 16th, and 18th. It includes an introduction overview session and 2 hands-on sessions, and we wrap up with a best practice session. For registration, please register at bit.ly/ODA Spanish. You can also choose to take the training as an on-demand class. For more information about Digital Assistant, please subscribe to our developer partner community newsletter. The next community webcast will take place on September 28th, and David Bain will give an update on the PeopleSoft chatbot, which we offer as a pre-built template. So please join us for the next community webcast. In case you missed one of our webcasts, on-demand recordings are available at Oracle Video Hub, which is the Oracle YouTube channel. With this, I would like to hand over to Michael Miner. Michael, thank you for attending.
Thank you very much, Jürgen. Yeah, so we're going to be discussing some of the new features that are now available in our August update. The August update is in progress. Many of our OIC instances across the fleet have already been updated. We do have some more that will be updated throughout the rest of this week. The way to know is you could look at your Oracle Integration instance and check the About screen. If you're on OIC version 21.3.2, then you have the August release along with the features that I'll be discussing. Typically, we have 4 key areas, and we're going to focus here on pre-built connectivity, but we do have additional features available in the other areas listed here. If you go to the Oracle Integration What's New page, you can find out about all the features that we released in the August update. For pre-built connectivity, we'll be discussing new adapters. We'll be discussing adapters that we've enhanced, and also additional recipes that we've added to the homepage. And then I'll also be introducing our Advantco team to discuss adapters that Advantco has made available. So we have lots of adapters in different segments. We have adapters for ERP, HCM, CX, and others, both Oracle as well as non-Oracle. Recently, we introduced a Jira adapter over on the right. For Azure, we've actually introduced a capability to connect to Azure SQL. Many of our customers have been asking for that capability. And we also have introduced 2 new adapters in August, which is mainly SAP HANA, as well as Zendesk. We're also going to be talking about the adapters that have been introduced by Advantco that are available in Marketplace. We'll be covering that in a bit as well. We also have an adapter for Amazon selling partners. So this is for customers who are using Amazon to sell products and need to integrate with other systems, maybe their ERP system. This is available in limited availability currently, so it won't be available in your Oracle Integration instance. However, if you have customers that have a need to integrate with their Amazon selling partner accounts, please do get in contact with us. We'll be happy to work with you to enable your customers' instances to start using this adapter. In the pre-built connectivity area for August, I mentioned the 2 new adapters that we have. We also have several additional features that we added. For Salesforce, we now support platform events. We'll be discussing that momentarily. We've also added features for SuccessFactors, Jira, Marketo, EBS, Intelligent Advisor, as well as the utilities adapter. So if you are making use of those adapters, do check out the What's New page to find out more information about additional capabilities. I want to point out also a couple of new changes here. One is in the connections page. When you do make a change to a connection, maybe you need to change the security credentials or what have you, there's a new button available to automatically reactivate all the integrations that are using that connection. So it's a handy way to not have to go to each integration and deactivate, reactivate, but you can do that now in a single step. Another change is that for our database adapters, whether it be Oracle database or a third party, we have a limit that we're imposing. So if your stored procedure, if you're invoking a stored procedure, let's say, and it takes more than 240 seconds, it will time out. This is basically to make better use of our resources, so we don't have lingering resources sticking around for stored procedures that take a long time or maybe never complete. This will not impact any existing integrations. For backward compatibility, existing integrations will not be subject to this timeout, but for any new integrations, this timeout will be in effect. So do keep that in mind if you're using any of the database adapters with stored procedures. We've also added a number of pre-built integrations from the OIC homepage, including recipes involving Fusion, NetSuite, and many of the third-party products. One of our new adapters, the Zendesk adapter. Zendesk is a customer service solution. Many of our customers are making use of Zendesk for customer relationships, tracking tickets, live chat, Zendesk Talk, etc. What we're supporting in this release with the adapter is the ability to perform CRUD operations for Zendesk business resources. So for example, you might want to import users, perhaps in bulk, or import tickets or organizations. You can also search for open tickets or perhaps create new tickets on the fly. So what typical use cases would be maybe using HCM, Oracle HCM, to track your employees. And whenever a new hire is onboarded, that new hire is taken from HCM and automatically added into Zendesk as a user. Another use case is creating an issue in Salesforce. Maybe you're a sales rep creating an issue for some product defect, and you want that added to Zendesk as a new ticket. We will take a look at a demo of that last use case in a little while. Second adapter we've added is the SAP S/4HANA adapter. SAP S/4HANA is a cloud-based ERP solution, typically used by large enterprises. And it also happens to be optimized. It takes advantage of SAP's in-memory HANA database. In this release, we're supporting the adapter to make invokes into SAP HANA using the SAP exposed OData APIs. We're not supporting trigger capability in this release. That's something we will consider adding in a future release. But for invokes, we'll support, the adapter supports the CRUD operations against selected modules and operations that you select in the wizard. So for example, you might want to create a new item in a collection on the exposed business resource within SAP HANA. So a couple of typical use cases. Maybe a customer has both SAP HANA as well as ERP. Perhaps it was through a merger, or maybe they are intending to move from SAP HANA to ERP, and they want to sync up their suppliers. So you can move the suppliers or replicate the suppliers that are in SAP HANA and create those in ERP. And that could also be done on the fly. So anytime a supplier is added to SAP HANA, the integration can be kicked off to create the corresponding supplier in ERP. Another use case is Commerce Cloud to SAP HANA, a typical opportunity to cash, as the sales representatives are using Commerce Cloud to sell products. Maybe they mark an opportunity as one, and that would automatically kick off or create a corresponding order in SAP HANA. A new capability that we've introduced in our existing Salesforce adapter is Salesforce Platform Events. So if you have customers making use of Salesforce, Platform Events is an event-driven architecture. So it allows you to have publishers and subscribers. Publishers would be publishing platform events, and of course, subscribers would be registering and then receiving those events. With the Salesforce adapter, the adapter can now act as a subscriber to those platform events. So whenever a platform event is published, if your integration is set up to register to receive those events, your integration would be kicked off. That would be through the trigger mechanism of the Salesforce adapter. And then you can process those platform events, for instance, to open a ticket in Zendesk. So the way this would look in the wizard for the Salesforce is that when you're configuring a trigger, you'll have a choice of two actions: the outbound messaging, which we have supported in previous releases. The new one is platform events that you can select. If you select platform events, you'll be presented with a window that will give you a list of the various platform events that are available in your Salesforce account. So let's take a look at a demo of Salesforce Platform Event to Zendesk Ticket. So let's take a look at the use case. We have a sales rep. That sales rep is using Salesforce to track their opportunities and sales data. And they sold a customer an item, and perhaps the item that the customer received was defective. So the customer reached out to the sales rep and said, hey, this product is not working correctly. Sales rep wants to be able to report it. So they're going to report that defect inside of Salesforce, because that's the tool that they are used to, that's the tool that they're using. And we're going to use Oracle Integration to automatically create a corresponding ticket in Zendesk. And then from there, the customer's support team can act on it and correct the issue for the customer. The way this is going to look from a Salesforce perspective is that we're going to create a Salesforce Platform event. It's going to include some custom fields. In this case, let's say we're a printer manufacturer, so maybe it's going to report the printer model and the serial number. That platform event needs to be published by some entity. In this case, we're going to design a custom flow in Salesforce. And finally, that flow is going to be surfaced in Salesforce via a Visualforce page. So here I am. I'm in Salesforce, and you can see I have a new option here called Report a Defect. That's a new page that we've added. So we're going to select a defective item. We'll type in a printer model, and then we'll give it a serial number. Once we click Next, that's going to invoke our integration to create a corresponding ticket inside of Zendesk. So we've given it an item, we've given it a serial number, and now we can see that that item and serial number is going to appear in our unsolved tickets inside of Zendesk. Okay, so how did we enable this? So what we've done is, inside of Salesforce, we've created a Visualforce page. That Visualforce page is called defect page. That defect page is calling a flow called defect flow. Let's take a look at that flow. Here's the defect flow. You can see from the flow builder, this is all in Salesforce. I've designed a screen that with those two options that we showed earlier, and that's going to create a record in Salesforce. That record is going to trigger a platform event called defect event. And once defect event is triggered, this is what's going to trigger our integration. You can see here we have a subscription here. This is represented by our integration that is registered for this event. So we can see, using both the Salesforce adapter as well as the Zendesk adapter, we're able to complete the scenario where we can take a Salesforce information coming from Salesforce through platform events to automatically create a corresponding ticket in Zendesk. Okay, next we're going to move to the adapters by Advantco. What I'm showing here is a page from Marketplace where the Advantco adapters are listed. There are 5 adapters today and more coming. And for more details, I'm going to hand it off to our Advantco team, starting with Nick.
Thank you, Michael. So Advantco, we've been around since 2007. I'm the president. My name is Nick Persovich. We've also got Peter Ha, who's the head of our product development group. We've built a lot of integrations for SAP. We've worked closely with SAP for a long time, and we've been working for the last several years with Michael and his team with OIC and now OIC Gen 2 to create a lot of the adapters and capabilities that we've built for SAP for both their on-premise and cloud integration platforms. So I'll let Peter talk a little more about the specific adapters, but just wanted to give everyone a quick overview kind of on Advantco. So like I said, we've been around with SAP for a long time. We are in their process orchestration and now their cloud integration. They used to call that CPI. We also have smart data integration adapters for SAP, but right now, all 5 of our adapters are available in Oracle Integration Cloud. And I think our Dynamics adapter is also available in SOA Suite. So, what we wanted to put together kind of a simple chart here that shows, what really the benefits of our pre-built solutions are. We call them adapters. When you think about, third-party iPaaS and customers developing custom solutions, we can do things in a much quicker time frame. The complexity is a lot lower. The investment is less. We've seen some of our customers on the SAP side, it takes almost 18 months to get fully implement, MuleSoft or Delboomi, and then even the connectors within those platforms may not be as robust as what we've built. People don't have to have a whole lot of experience with, third-party apps and APIs. And obviously we handle all the maintenance and support, and that's really what we're known for. Customers really appreciate us getting back to them in a matter of hours and days rather than weeks. And then obviously our solutions eliminate custom coding and development. All of our connectors allow you to use Oracle backend systems. Typically teams can do them, customer teams can do them and implement them themselves. We have consultants that can help, but a lot of times people don't utilize us because the adapters are I don't know if I'd say plug and play. There's some mapping involved, but on the technical side, our adapters really handle most of the work for you. We're able to do no cost proof of concept. So if someone wants to do a trial, they can do a trial for 30 or 60 days, and we will help them along. We give them access to our support team to make sure that they have a successful at least use case or scenarios and can work with our adapters well. And then obviously Peter and his team, we have a lot of expertise that we built up over the years, both in SAP and now Oracle. And we can use that to help all the customers using the adapters. As you can see, we put together, just a slide of some of the names of some of our customers. We've got customers of all sizes. These are just some of the more recognizable names, but customers that are, 200, 300, 400 million of revenue, but some of the largest companies in the world utilize, 1, 2, or in some cases 5 or 6 of our different pre-built adapters. Included this quote here. I won't read it, but Matthews Matthews International. They're based out of Chicago. It's a really good customer of ours. Typically, when you see integrations, it's usually for cost savings. You eliminate duplicate data. There are manual processes. You want to automate workflows. It's all really a lot on the cost side, how it can help customers. But one thing we've seen from people that really truly understand our adapters is that they've connected using integration platforms to connect not only to their internal systems but also to their customer systems, and that can be a differentiator for them. They've actually won several engagements where they're using our adapters as a point of differentiation. So it's not just on the expense side; it's also helping them increase their revenue, which is something that they're really excited about, and so are we. So I'll introduce Peter Ha. He's the head of our product development team. We put together, we've got 5 slides here that, kind of show what our adapters, and then I think he's going to run through a quick demo scenario. Peter, do you want to just kind of talk at a very high level about the different adapters we have? I'm happy to kind of click when you're ready to go to the next slide.
Yes, thanks, Nick. Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending this. So our first adapter is the Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM adapter. This adapter provides you the connectivity from OIC to Dynamics. So typical use case are updating master data, right? If you want to update an account, you want to create contacts. This allows you to sync that with the Oracle backend. You can then also use the adapter to have the inbound flow where you can create orders based on an opportunity, or you can integrate this to see the order status from the backend, right? If you ship it, if you invoice, you can send back the status back from the ERP to Dynamics. What we take care for you using the adapter is, of course, authentication, right? Which is quite sometimes the most complex part. And that is done by the adapter itself. It's fully integrated with the OSC runtime. So we make sure that everything is compliant to how OSC behave at runtime, at design time for this adapter. Okay. The Dynamics CRM adapter is both available for OSC, and like Nick mentioned shortly, it is also available for the SOA suite. So the capabilities are very similar. Of course, the runtime itself and how implement is different, but how you work with adapter is that for the OSC version or for the SOA version, it behaves very similar. So if you have a customer that have SOA and they later decide to move to OSC, using the adapter, they will have a very small threshold to use that when they migrate to OSC. The next adapter is the Amazon Web Service adapter. Like you know, Amazon Web Service have a lot of service available, right? So we talk about SQS, S3, SNS. It's for us, the way that we see that is that when you integrate with AWS, we provide a solution that provide all these capabilities. So if you currently integrate with SQS and you want in the future to switch to SNS, it's the same adapter. Okay, the configuration is slightly different, but how the adapter behave, it's the same. So what are the typical use case that we see for this adapter? For example, of course, master data. You see all the time. If you have an e-commerce website host on Amazon and you want to sync master data to the application, you can use the adapter for that. Order processing, similar. You receive order in from your e-commerce website. You want to use SQS to send this order back to SAP, to Oracle. That is the adapters for, right? And of course, we handle authentication. We handle the encryption. All the capabilities that are there on the AWS side is handled by the adapter. We will add new features or new service to the adapter, and we also very open to you and your customers whenever they need a service that is not available yet, or then just let us know, and we work with you and your customer to add it to the adapter. Good. The Azure adapter, very similar to AWS, a lot of service. And the challenge is always when you start a project, your customer say, okay, I want to integrate with data lake, right? Your team have to know how data lake work, the APIs, best practice, the adapter support out of the box. And then if your customer say, okay, I want to use additional service like Service Bus or Event Hubs, you just create a new connection and it's supported. For these cloud adapters, because the adapter that we implement, they are running on the connectivity agent, right? So they run outside of OSC. It allowed us to add some additional features, which is quite nice to have. We have customers that like to upload to data lake a 1 gigabit file. This is possible with our adapter. This allowed us to upload very large file very fast. So it's optimized to handle large file too. It's optimized to handle high volume, right? If you have integrated with the Service Bus, we have customers that have up to 1 million messages a day. So how we handle this, how we package them to send to IC to handle high volume, this is also part of the adapter. With Azure authentication, of course, taken care by adapter. And like I say, the service that we support, we can enhance it based on the new service that Microsoft release, or that is required by your customer or you. We add it to the adapter. Google Cloud adapter. This is the third cloud platform adapter that we provide. And again, it's the same story, right? Integrating with these cloud platforms, assume a lot of knowledge about each of these service. It's not easy to switch from using BigQuery than having your developer switch it to data store in another day. So this is all taken care by our adapter. We optimize authentication. We have very good feedback on this adapter from the source, so we know what kind of authentication is required. And so this adapter is like similar to the AWS and Azure. It's basically provide that abstraction around those services and those APIs, so that you basically focus on your process, right? If you want to send insert into a table, into BigQuery, you don't have to worry about all the statements you have to write, all the APIs authentication. You just map it to the XML, and we take care of that insert into the BigQuery. For example, BigQuery, we enhance also the default behavior. We allowed you to insert into multiple tables instead of only one table. So these are enhancements that we make on the adapter level itself. The MQP adapter, MQP, most people use it for RabbitMQ. We have customers that use it for both RabbitMQ and also to integrate using MQP 1.0 with Azure Service Bus, for example. So the adapter support both the old 9.1 version as well as the new open standard 1.0 version, right? And like we show this adapter in the demo scenario, but what are typical scenarios? Order processing, right? So if you have orders coming in your system and you want to queue them up in the queue, instead of sending them directly to OIC, you can use RabbitMQ for that. Why would you do that? That is to handle when you have very high peak moment, right? Then if you send everything directly to ISC and you have a period where you have very high sales, it may be a lot. So with RabbitMQ, you cannot provide a buffer between the two systems. Okay, so next slide, give the scenario that we want to provide today. So we have an application that you see on the right side. It publishes some customer data into a queue on RabbitMQ. We want to subscribe to that queue, and we're going to use on the left side, we use the second adapter, the Dynamics CRM adapter, to create accounts into Dynamics. And what we want to focus on this demo is basically that if, although the adapters are deployed on the connected TS agent, for you or your customer as a developer or user of the integration platform, you basically work only in OIC, right? It's for you, it doesn't feel different when you do a design at runtime of monitoring. It feels like it is a standard adapter, and that is one of the things that we want to show you in this demo. Okay, so as you see here, once we deploy the adapters, so the adapters, like I say, are deployed on the connective agent, right? We're not going to go into that step, but you make a VM available, deploy the agent, and then on the agent server, you will then deploy the adapters. Once you deploy the adapters, they will be available in your tenant. And you see these are the adapters we talk about, right? After you deploy the tenants, you then have to create the connection, right? So let's look, for example, one connection, the Dynamics CRM connection here. So you see, when you create a connection, it tells you which adapter to use. So you select the Dynamics CRM adapter, and then for Dynamics CRM, you provide the endpoint, you provide the credentials. So this screen look almost identical as any standard adapters that Oracle provide, right? For the MQP adapter, is the same. And then once you have the two connections defined, you're going to develop your integration, right? I already have one activated, so I just show you in read-only mode to make sure that we don't make a mistake. So what I do here is I use the MQP adapter here, the connection to connect to MQP. And here I have the outbound invoke to create the account in Dynamics, right? So if we're going to look into the connection, we provide here the queue that we're going to read to, that we're going to pull data out, okay? And the adapter use also a custom schema. So when you pull data out of a queue, you can tell what is the schema that you're going to use. So that's basically your structure, right? And then you can see here, we're going to pull it every 90 seconds. And the prefetch size is basically telling how much every time you connect the queue, how much you're going to read. The next thing that we provide here is what we call batching. Is this allowed us to, instead of sending every message from the agent, from the adapter to OIC, we're going to batch them and then we send them together. So instead of having for every customer one single message to OIC, I may have up to 50 to 10 customers. So that allowed us to have a higher throughput. Okay. And then on the Dynamics side is where we basically make our connection to Microsoft Dynamics and create the customer. What's the chance here is that we have to know the structure of the objects on Dynamics, right? We have to know what is an account, and we want, beside to create account, we want also to create a contact with the account. So what the adapter does is that it fetches the objects that are available on Dynamics. For example, you see the account, and then for the objects, it also tells you what the relationships, okay? And this is how we specify the account that we're going to create. And then you just select, based on the connection and the authentication that you provide in the connection, it lists you all the accounts and all the relationships, okay? And then the adapter, based on that, generate the schema. So it's very easy to use. It automatically creates a schema. And then once you have the schema, then you do the mapping. Let's quickly look at the mapping. So on this side here, I have my structure of my customer that I pull out of RabbitMQ, right? I have the content here. And I have, for example, the contacts, and I have the address. And here on my right side, this is what I want to map to, which is my custom account in Dynamics. So you see here, these are the mapping. So the system automatically create all these attributes, and you can then start do your mapping, right? Beside the attributes, what is interesting is it also generate the relationship field. So here you have the contacts, and then you just have to map the contacts with it. So it create an account, and it create a contacts, and it link that contact to the account. So this kind of a complex process that you can manage in one mapping, and this speed of your implementation, it make the maintenance much easier for you when you do a project, right? So then this is done. So let me show you how it work. Let me go down a little here. Let's go to Rabbit Dynamics, show you how Dynamics look like. So here I have Dynamics. I will send a customer called webinar, right? So I don't have any. I'm going to publish them directly into a queue on RabbitMQ. So here I'm going to put here, and I will publish 3 customers, and they all start with webinar. And if we're lucky, we see that they are all created with one single message, because I will batch them. Or if we are unlucky, we may see 3 different methods, okay? So let me publish the first one. Let me publish the second one. Let me publish the last one. Okay, so I mentioned before, like, you know, the development runtime, now the monitoring, how does it work? We go in here, you see it all fully integrated. I think it already run. So let's click on that. You see this is the last one. Let's see which one it was. And you can see the monitor, the payload. You can see which message was sent to Dynamics. See the structure here. You see thing. And then if you go to Dynamics, you should see the 3. Let me see if I have it. Okay, it's maybe not running yet. Let me refresh. Strength. Oh, okay. I know why. Stress of the demo. So I have to go. Oh, and you see all the objects here. And if you click on one, for example, you see that it creates both the account and it creates also the contact to it. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. So using this adapter, integrate RabbitMQ and Dynamics, you basically can just configure, define the mapping, and all the authentication, how the system handle the conversion of data. This is all taken by the adapter. Good. That concludes our part. Back to Michael.
All right, thank you, Peter, and thank you, Nick. That was a great demo, appreciate it. And yes, if you have needs for leveraging the Advantco adapters, we can certainly do that. And once you go through some of the prereq steps, they would appear as any other adapter inside of your Oracle integration instances. Let me switch gears for a little bit. We're now going to cover pre-builts. So up until now, we've been focused a lot on the adapters, new adapters, existing adapters. And as you might be aware, we have the concept of pre-built integrations, which we also call recipes that are available. They take the form of either an integration archive, which is if you want to produce a single integration, that's the .iar format, or you can also package up multiple integrations into a package known as a package archive or .par file. The recipes are available in primarily two repositories. One is our Oracle Marketplace, and the other one that we introduced several months ago is directly on the OIC homepage. So we're going to take a look at both of those momentarily. For partners, we do have some of the folks online, in fact, have delivered recipes onto Marketplace. We don't have the capability yet for recipes to be added to our OIC homepage for partners, but it's something that we're looking to enable in the near future. You can see here the Oracle Assistant. I'll show you that's another feature that's in our August release. We're not really focused on that, but it's a really handy feature for getting information about Oracle integration. Okay, so for Marketplace, partner listings can do one of the following. It either can pop up a form, which allows the customer to type in their information, which is then sent to the partner. It could link to a partner site to directly download the recipes right from there, or it could link to a partner site for additional information. So the customer would then contact the partner to get the access to the recipes. So it really depends on your delivery model. If you're looking to make your recipes freely available, you want anybody to be able to download it, to download those options, or to download your recipes, then you can use any of the three options, although option number 2 would be the most straightforward, because then customers can just download them right away. You also might want to make your recipes available for a fee, or perhaps you consider your recipes to be intellectual property, so you don't sell them, use them for engagements when you're engaging with a customer for rapid development. Let's take a look at a quick demo of the Marketplace. Okay, so I am on the Marketplace site, and I have selected my product as Oracle Integration, and I can see a list of listings here, some of them by Oracle, some of them by folks that are on the line from our partners. So let's take a look at one. This is from Cognizant, so we might have some folks from Cognizant actually on the line. And there's a Get app where I'm going to have to then accept the terms and conditions. So I've read this thoroughly. I'm willing to accept that. I go to Next, and at that point, I'm going to be able to submit a form that's going to then be sent to Cognizant. And then I can expect the partner to get in touch with me for more information, et cetera. So that's one of the models. Another model we'll take a look at. So going back to Cloud Marketplace, I can see other listings here. Here's one from, let's say, Bossware. This one looks like something I might want to evaluate further for automated e-invoices. So if I click on the Get app here, and again, of course, I'll have to accept the terms of use. And now I'm brought to a Bossware site where right from here, it's going to let me download the recipe. All I have to do is download that. And I have my integration archive. I can then go to my OIC instance and do an import, and I'll have the recipe right there. So those are some of the models that are available today from Marketplace. Now let's talk about what we have available from the OIC homepage. So if you've ever logged into OIC, actually the first thing that you'll see right from the homepage is recipes highlighted. This offers the users a seamless experience because right from the homepage, they can install the recipe. They don't have to go to a separate download. They can then go into configure the recipe and then start running it. So it's a more seamless experience for users. Today, like I mentioned, all the recipes that are on our homepage are delivered by Oracle. But in the future, we are looking to open it up to partners. We really like to hear from you, our partners. How critical is it? Was this something that you might want to take advantage of? We really want to hear from you to know what your use cases are and how might you want to take advantage of having your recipes available from the OIC homepage. Let's take a look at a quick demo of what that looks like from the homepage. Okay, so here I am. I'm logged into one of my OIC instances. In fact, we can see the handy Oracle Assistant. I might want to type in a question like, what is a recipe? Okay, so here it gives me more information. I can click on the recipes. I can read all about what recipes are. Here is where I can actually see the recipes right from the home page. So if I search all, it's going to give me all the recipes that are available today from the home page. I can also search for ones that I'm interested in. Someone was asking about ServiceNow when I was showing the Zendesk demo. So let's take a look at some recipes that are available for ServiceNow. So we can see we have 3 recipes. Now, they're not with Salesforce, but we do have other recipes, let's say ServiceNow box integration. And if I'm interested in finding out more information, I can see here, I can get to the documentation. I can see a little description here. And then if I want to start using it, I can go ahead and install it. That's all I need to do. At that point, the recipe is actually installed. And from there, I can go and start configuring the recipe. By going to the configure box, it'll give me the integration. It'll give me the connections. I'm not going to go through the rest of this because the rest is very similar to what you're probably used to from an OIC standpoint in terms of creating the connections, testing them, saving them, and then, of course, activating the integration. Now, if there are multiple integrations, if this was, let's say, a PAR file, I can actually activate everything all at once. I don't have to activate them one at a time. If I make any changes to the connections, like I spoke about earlier, there'll be the option presented to actually reactivate any associated integrations, including the ones that might be associated with this recipe. Okay, so from the Oracle homepage, it contains today recipes listed by Oracle only, but like I mentioned, in the future, we will be looking to open this up further. Again, love to hear your feedback on how you, our partner community, might want to take advantage of this capability. This is how it might look in the future. We might have recipe cards listed, not only from Oracle, but also representing recipes from our partner community. Okay, so I think we have gotten through the material. At this point, Jürgen, perhaps we want to take a look at some of the additional Q&A. Is there anything else, Jürgen, that you wanted to share?
Michael, very much. That was a great overview of the adapters, and thank you to Peter and Nick for the introduction of the Advantco adapters. So if you have questions, you can post them in the Q&A, or you can raise your hand and we unmute you to ask the questions live. While we prepare the Q&A, let's wrap up quickly the call with the call to action. If you're not a member in the partner community, please make sure that you register.
Jürgen, this is Nick. One thing I wanted to mention, I know if people want to get in touch with us, if they have customers that have questions or they want to learn more, we're working with Michael's team to get people access to the adapters. But if they want to reach out to sales@advantco.com, we can get in front of their customers, do a trial agreement, help however we can. So that's really the best way to get in touch with us. That was our last slide, Jürgen. I don't think we quite got to there after Peter's demo, but it's sales@advantco.com.
Thank you. I will show that slide in a minute, and I also posted the link already in the chat.
Great. Thank you, Jürgen.
Okay, so to wrap up the call with the actions, please make sure that you register for the partner community. If you would like to learn more about Oracle integration, you can visit our website, make use of the documentation, and you'll find the adapters in the cloud marketplace and in the OIC console homepage. To learn more about Advantco, or about the SAP, Amazon, Azure, Google, and Dynamics adapter, please visit at advantco.com/product/oracle-cloud adapters. And if you missed one of our webcasts, on-demand recordings are available via the video hub at bit.ly/watchcommunity, and you can ask your questions anytime via the Slack. With that, we would like to come to the questions and answer section. So there was one question for the Advantco team from Nick, for Nick and for Tim. The question was, our current approach for Amazon S3 is via REST adapters. What are the advantages of Advantco adapters over the REST adapter approach?
Yeah, Jürgen, I will handle that. So certainly one thing that there's a limitation when you use the REST adapter is when you upload a file and the file is bigger than 10 MB. I think that would not be possible. So with our adapter, because it's deployed on the your connectivity agent, you can basically upload a file that is 200 MB or 500 MB. And we use the multi-part upload, so it can chunk a file, a large file into smaller pieces and do the parallel uploading. So certainly if you have a requirement to upload very large file to Amazon, to Google Cloud, or to Azure, having the adapter deployed on a separate VM on the connectivity agent, it allows you to do this large file upload. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, the next question is, what is the best way to install a third-party adapter in OIC?
So for us, the first thing is you have to install the connectivity agent, right? You should go to your OIC tenant and you see that there's a button for you to download the connectivity agent. And then once you install that on a VM, it can either be in Google Cloud, it can be on-premise. Then you just have to copy the jar file that we provide to you to install third-party adapters in that. So the process of installing the adapter itself, the third-party adapters, is a very quick process, but you need, as a prerequisite, you have to install the connectivity agent first. Good.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I also wanted to add that there were some questions about how do I produce third-party adapters. Just want to mention this is currently a closed system. So we have Advantco and we have another smaller vendor that developed adapters. We haven't opened it up more broadly. We plan to, by early next year, to open it up to other partners. However, in the meantime, if you do have a need to develop custom adapters, we would definitely want to hear what your requirements are.
Michael, what other questions do you would like to highlight and to answer live?
Yeah, well, I think we covered the subscribing to use the adapters. If you want to use the adapters coming from Advantco, like Nick mentioned, you can get in touch directly with Advantco, which also could be done through Marketplace. That'll take you to the form that I showed that will alert Advantco sales folks, and I can get in touch with you. The other one to cover is a possibility of adding inbuilt message broker JMS in OIC. We do have a JMS adapter. I'm not sure if that's what the intention was there, Satya, but we're still planning to make use of adapters. There are other JMS providers that we don't support that we're looking to support, but our approach to supporting JMS is through the adapters. And of course, we always have on our backlog additional adapters that we do plan to develop. And of course, want to hear your feedback, our partner community, on what adapters we do not yet have that you are looking for, that you see demand for. We definitely want to take that into account as we prioritize future adapters.
Okay. So we would like to go back to the Advantco slide to give them an opportunity for the call to action. Nick, it's all yours.
Sure, thank you, Jürgen. So Like I said, if anyone wants to reach out to us, the best way to get in touch is sales@advantco.com. The first step is we do just a quick discovery call just to make sure we understand what the customer's needs are. And then we get on and do a demo. We try and highlight the use cases that they want to see. But that's really the best way to reach out to us is sales@advantco.com. And like I said, we've got a free 30-day trial of all of our adapters where customers have full access to our support team through Jira. And then obviously, have all the links there and all these are on Marketplace, but we have all of these links on our website as well, advantco.com. So you can see all the features of the adapters.
Excellent, and thanks for the nice demo.
Thank you, Jürgen.
So if you have further questions, you can reach out to Peter, Michael, or myself. You'll find us on social media, and you can also send us an email address. I would like to say thanks for attending today's webcast, and we would like to invite you to please complete the online survey at the end of the webcast. And the next webcast will take place on September 28, and we will talk about digital assistant templates for PeopleSoft. Thank you very much for attending.